This conference will now be recorded. Unmuted.
Good evening. This is Dr. Yadav, New Sciences P, coordinator, Associate Officer, Women's Cell, Latur District, along with Singh Manda, Neuroscience Coordinator, IAP Women's Cell, Latur. We welcome you all for to our cultural yes, started on 30th May 2000 under the of head Dr. Ruchi Vaidya and President Dr. We have 5 zones with heads for Dr. Pooja the West Zone. IIPMSL works towards conducting public awareness camps, CAs, workshops, and the main aim of therapy professionals for sharing knowledge and public awareness of therapy. The of include in Maharashtra, we have conducted नहीं आया hello hello hello
Hello.
Am I
Ma'am, your voice was not clear.
Neha,
Hello,
you can
Sneha.
start.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
Neha,
starting
you
the
can
intro
start.
again.
Yeah.
Am I audible
Okay.
clearly?
Yeah, you are audible. Start.
Yeah,
Please go ahead.
okay. Good evening, all of you. There were some connection issues. Apology for the same. I shall take this opportunity to introduce the Indian Association of Physiotherapists Women Cell, as you have already been attending so many webinars of ours. So I wouldn't take much of your time before starting the presentation of sirs. Hello, all dear physios. Now, this is Dr. Neha Singh Mandare. I am the sub-coordinator of Indian Association of Physiotherapists, Women Cell, Latur district. We have our coordinator as Dr. Pallavi Jadhav Dangat ma'am. And we were formed in June 2018, conducted various activities under the banner of Maharashtra IAPWC. And IAPWC was started on 30th of May 2018, and it functions under the guidance of National Head Dr. Ruchi Varshne ma'am and IAP President Dr. Sanjeev Jha sir. We have 5 zones in India with heads for each. We have Dr. Pooja Kamble ma'am as the West Zone Head. IAPWC works together conducting public awareness camps, CMEs, workshops. It also aims at bringing together all the physiotherapy professionals for sharing the knowledge and improving public awareness about physiotherapy. The state team of IAPWC Maharashtra also includes state coordinator as Dr. Suvarna Ganveer ma'am, joint coordinator headed by Dr. Snehal Patel, and sub-coordinator as Dr. Uttara Mohan, Dr. Nirali Sanghvi, and Dr. Priya Karande. In Maharashtra IAPWC, it has conducted 40 plus low-cost activities in various districts. In first corporate IAP conference held in Indore in the month of April 2019 year, Maharashtra state received award for best state IAPWC. Now today we all are fortunate to have amongst us the eminent speaker, respected Dr. Prem Venkateshan sir, as cardiorespiratory physiotherapist between us. Sir is associate professor at Manipal College of Health Profession, Manipal Hospital, Bangalore. He has 17 years of academic experiences. He has published 25 national and international papers and has granted as 72 lakhs for his ongoing research. Sir has also acquired certification in visceral manipulation from Barrel Institute, USA, from the level 1 to 5. Before moving on for today's webinar, I would request all the participants to kindly mute off their microphones and switch off your cameras for the smooth proceedings of the webinar. And all the participants can put their questions in the chat box. We will try to answer as many as possible towards the end of the session. And now I request Dr. Prem sir to contribute further and continue with the lecture. We welcome you all, sir. Over to you. Hello.
Yeah. Good evening, all.
Good
Thanks
evening,
for
sir.
the introduction. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are.
Okay, just let me know if I'm fast or can't hear properly. Okay, so thanks for the introduction. Happy to be amongst you. So we have chosen a topic of visceral manipulation, and I'm sure most of us know whoever is attending is clinician, and so that's where I think the interest comes. So why visceral manipulation? So I'll just try to share my screen. Is my screen visible? Is my screen visible?
Visible? Yes, sir, visible.
Okay.
You can keep it as slideshow mode, sir, full screen.
Okay, so I'm just trying to close this like yesterday. Yeah, got it. So is it visible, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. So the topic is visceral manipulation. So you can think like, no, why visceral manipulation? Because as a physiotherapist, already we are bombarded with so many approaches, like, articular, muscular, neural. So you got so many approaches. Again, no, we are adding complexity to adding, visceral to it. Okay. Why? So because if you see as a, person, when you treat the patient, no, with a back pain or a knee pain or a hip pain or a neck pain, they come with the visceral organs. Okay, they don't keep away the visceral organs and then come to us. So they come as a whole. So when they come as a whole, it's not like um, all the tissues, all the organs are interconnected, and then they are again connected to your back, neck, to your hip. So which can definitely make a no make a referred pain, or because of visceral you can get a muscle pain. So those connections exist. Okay, and coming to the objectives today, what we are going to see today, we'll see what is a movement system. That's what as a physiotherapist we are interested. Okay, why visceral? Out of all the systems, why we are interested in visceral? And I'll discuss about cases which I have seen, and then end the session with what is the mechanism, how it works. So coming to, before start with the contents, I'll just share with a case history. This is a male patient who was age 19 years. This patient I have seen, I think 4 months back. 19 years old male, and he's a student studying a engineering college, and his chief complaint was pain over the left chest for past 2 months, and there was no history of trauma, and except one significant history, he lost his father 4 months back, and the pain was gradual in onset. The moment, the day which he was visiting, his VAS was 8 out of 10, and already he has met a cardiologist and an orthopedician, where the cardiologist has taken the ECG to rule out is it cardiac in origin, and he met the orthopedician, which orthopedician felt nothing much he can do, and that's how he referred. So what do you think about this case? Is this patient belong to us, or we need not worry about this patient? What are your thoughts? No, you can just put it in the chat box. Okay, what are your thoughts? So is it really our patient, or as a physio can we treat, or you feel like it's what could be the possible source of pain? What could be the possible source of pain, or within the scope of our practice? Is it within the scope of our practice? So these are the questions which comes into the mind, and you can see the only significant factor is the loss of his father, and then the pain started. So that's the only clue we have got from the history, and it looked like some kind of emotions which could be possibly so we will go through the as we go through, we'll find out how the emotions can affect the organs, and we'll see how, and again we'll come back to this case. By the time we finish our presentation, we'll come back to this case, what was done, what was the finding, and what was the treatment, and what was the outcome. We'll look into it. So as a movement system, you want to have a good movement, let it be shoulder, lumbar, good flexion, extension. You got different various systems which need to work in harmony or optimal work. So it could be your joints, articular, muscular, your neural, fascia, your visceral, central nervous system, and psychosocial factors. So you want to have a good movement, you need to have an optimal or ideal of functioning of all these systems. You want to get a good lumbar flexion, extension, your neck, shoulder. You need to have a system which all working well. Fine. And if you see, is there any relationship? Why we should bother about this? Visceral. Is there any relationship? And what is the relationship with the musculoskeletal system? So because most of the time we treat all our neck pain, back pain, knee pain. Is there any relationship between internal organs and the motion system? So that's called as viscerosomatic relationship, and they have a reciprocal relationship. Means you have a problem in your liver. Okay, it can have a referred pain to at your back. Okay, you have a problem in the gallbladder, still you can get a referral pain because of the because of your nerve roots. Okay, you can have a referral pain at your back. Okay, gallbladder, cecum. You can have a referral pain at the back. Fine, that's and it has a reciprocal relationship, not only one way. Even you have a problem, it starts with the muscle. Okay, there is no problem with the viscera, but it starts with the muscle. Still, the person has some pain in the anterior abdominal wall. So So it can be either way. Either problem started with visceral and person might present with back pain like that, or patient might have a, because of the interneuron connections, you can have this reciprocal relationship which is happening, which we can most of the time we can pick it up with proper history. Okay, so this is the interneurons where either your muscle joints and then the interneurons which connect to your organs. So for each organ, you can have a referral pain which can happen at the lumbar, thoracic, the sacrum. So you can have those referral pain, and through that, it's possible. Every time we think that it could be a muscle, it could be a joint, it could be a nerve, but keep it in mind, it could be a visceral organ. If it's something going on in the visceral organ, you might have tenderness, you might have your passive accessory movement, you might have your active movements painful in those locations. It's definitely possible. So when most of the time as a physio we treat somatic pain. So what is somatic pain? That's your pain which starts from your muscle, joint, ligament, nerve, fascia. So we are very good at it. That's a somatic pain. That's what as a physio we do it. Visceral, no, we don't have much exposure in this area, except we learned some physiology during our first year of BPT. After that, I don't think so. It's part of us, and most often we focus more on our muscles, biomechanics, exercise therapy. We go through that. Then, as I said, there could be viscerosomatic, a problem with gallbladder, a problem with cecum, problem with ascending, descending colon, can have a muscle pain, can be at the back, can be at the knee, can have a referral pain. And if we don't understand these connections, again we miss the whole picture, and we treat the knee. And if it's a source is going to be visceral, we miss the whole thing. And as I said, it also can be somatovisceral. It started with the muscle. After that person tells this, we would have seen with the patient. Yeah, I started with back pain. No, this happened, 2-3 months now. Now I have pain in the front or thigh, front of the thigh, front of the hip. And most often we ignore it. We just tell, oh, that's okay, there's nothing to worry, nothing to worry, it's all coming from the back. So we treat that because as a syllabus, we are taught very well about the physical examination of lumbar spine. Okay, so whatever patient says, we tell no, it's okay. We look at lumbar, it's all coming from lumbar, and we can always say that we don't have it in syllabus. But when the patient comes to us, I think patient doesn't know what we read and what we don't know, and definitely we can't tell it's out of syllabus and can't see where could be the possible source. So I'm going to show you some videos where what are the interconnections. So okay, with the back, will the viscera definitely, if you move, does that move the back? No, does it have any connections or not? So we are going to see those connections. Fine, as I said, you can have localization of visceral patterns. Suppose a person having stomach can have a tenderness at your thoracic spine, T4 to T7. Person with liver and gallbladder problem can have a pain which can be at thoracic 6 and 9, and kidney again thoracic vertebrae T10 to L2. Gynecological organs, so it's quite extensive, L2 to S1, pelvic floor, SA joint, all this you can have a referral pain. That's how you see patients have some gynecological issues, complaining pain everywhere, groin, back, SA joint. So it could be visceral in origin. Okay, and if you see the visceral organs, okay, so at the top, okay, this is a liver, stomach, then you've got the transverse colon. Okay, and if you see, it's all covered with peritoneum. Okay, visceral peritoneum, parietal peritoneum, and the visceral peritoneum goes along the organs, and you can see it's like a package. It keeps covering each region. So if you see, if you move one organ, it's not like you're going to move only one, you're going to move the other areas also. And you can see all this peritoneum posteriorly, you can see it's lying like a bed on the lumbar spine. So you can never say viscera is not part of the back, and when you treat back pain, it's never going to be a source of pain. If you say that, the anatomy is going to be wrong. Its anatomy is always true, and there are connections, and it's true connections. And this again the fascia, which wraps around like a gift wrap, and everything is interconnected. And you move one organ, and a person has undergone some appendicectomy or a hysterectomy, so it can give tension not only in different parts of the abdomen, and also it can go to extremities. It can create that kind of traction. And what is visceral manipulation? Is a gentle, non-aggressive form of manual therapy that specifically targets the internal organs based on their articulation, their support structures, and their physiological functions as well as dysfunction. So same way how we talk about our joints moving, no? So they have mobility. Okay, so they have seen that how the stomach moves, medial, lateral, superior, inferior. So we do the movement assessment and find which way is the restriction, and we mobilize, and thereby we improve the movement of the organs and their functions too. Okay, what all the organs it's included? It includes like liver, stomach, duodenum, gallbladder, small intestine, large intestine, your ascending, descending colons, your cecum, rectum. Not only that, no, you got your uterus, urinary bladder, prostate, and your thorax, your lungs, your heart. Okay, so you can mobilize and you can assess and you can do some changes in these organs. So I'm just going to give you a small MCQ. Okay, just try to answer it in the chat box. Okay, just to get on orientation. Patient with right shoulder pain. Which visceral structure can refer pain? Stomach or small
This
intestine?
conference will now be recorded.
We'll have 10 seconds. You can have answer in the chat box.
Yes, sir, we have the answer. Almost 99% people have given the answer as 6 minutes.
Okay, good. So that's quite big, which is sitting just right underneath our abdominal wall. So quite a huge one. And most often when you mobilize it, lots of patient gets lots of relief for the back pain. Okay, so who started this visceral manipulation? It was coined by a person named Dr. Jean-Pierre Darrel. He is an osteopathic physician and physical therapist. So basically, he was a physiotherapist. After that, he has done an osteopath, right? And how he started this whole concept. Okay, so he used to treat patient. He is from France, so he used to treat patients with back pain, and he treated one patient, and he treated, and he didn't see the patient for next 2-3 months. After 3 months, the patient came back and he asked like, how are you? He said, no, I'm doing fine. I got the relief. Then, oh, that's good. Then he said, it's not because of you. No, it's it's a traditional healer from Alps mountain. So he said they did something on my abdomen. No, my back pain went away. Then he thought, okay, something they would have done. So he thought like, by chance something has happened. So what happens in next 3-4 months, or he gets a kind of similar kind of histories for next 2-3 patients. Then he gets curious. So what's happening? Why you do something on the abdomen and the back pain gets better? Then he starts looking back into the anatomy, and he starts looking at the connections to the heart, to the intestines, to the back. Okay, he starts looking at it, and also he looks at lots of respiratory post people with COPD, people with cadaveric. He goes and looks at the cadavers, and he sees how much changes happen in the lung, and how it puts tractional force on the musculoskeletal system. So that's how slowly he developed this visceral manipulation course. It's completely a kind of anatomy intensive. Okay, so completely, if you want to do this, you have to be sure on your anatomy and where it is, how it is, and it's really anatomy intensive and based on lots of palpation. So why visceral? Out of all, we've got so many systems. Why visceral? Okay, if you think about every system as we age, which system gets affected first? Okay, and if you think about like brain, or heart, cardiac related, can be myocardial infarction. What age it's common? Okay, so most often it is after 50, but nowadays you can see people getting angina or myocardial infarction at the age of 40 and 30s. Okay, same way neurological, yes, most often should be more than 50 or 60, but nowadays again. So if you look at these systems, if you see musculoskeletal system, yes, the moment the people start doing the work or over stress, postural, then you start with musculoskeletal. But when do you think the gastrointestinal system gets affected? So think about that. When does the gastrointestinal system starts getting affected? If you think about it, it starts much early. Okay, before we realize. You remember about your exam days. You remember about something you have done mistake, and what do you feel? Where do you feel? No, some sensations you feel, or before you wait for your turn in the Viva exam, you sit outside, and what do you feel? Where do you feel? Yeah, you feel like going to restroom, or you feel some no gargling in the stomach. You feel your heart rate becoming rapid, so sweating. So all these things, if you see, it all starts much earlier, and there are changes happening in the gastric system which we are not aware. And as you go to the middle age and your work stress, financial stress, lifestyle, most often people develop some kind of acidity, gastritis. Just look around you, your parents, your friends. No, there'll be most of them will have some kind of gastric issues which is unresolved, and people keep going and coming out or to hospitals and try to settle it. So that's how it becomes quite significant. And a person need to be healthy. You need to have a visceral system which has a proper motion, and emotion in our lives is thought to make a great impact on our bodies and function. Jane Perry believes our organs are extremely receptive to our emotions, feelings. So your heart, your no, your organs, your liver, they are all emotionally, and they are very sensitive. Okay, and they can respond really fast because of our sympathetic and parasympathetic system, and that can affect the function of the organs. So emotional reactions can range from simple spasms in the gallbladder to heartburn, vomiting, feeling faint, fainting, ulcers, and more serious diseases. And recurring emotional stress can exhaust an organ and restrict its movement. This is what happens in the chronic stress. No person who is under stress, like the boy whom we have seen the history, loss of a father. Okay, so maybe he's anxious, he's stressed, he's uncertain, fear. So you go to a posture, or your sympathetic system, everything goes haywire, and you can really cause those chest pains. And that's how you get this all these people coming to emergency with chest pain, and many of them 30, 40, or 50% of the time it's non-cardiac chest pain. So that means it's not cardiac in origin. So possibly gastrointestinal, possibly musculoskeletal, psychophysiological. So these are the possibilities where the patient might have these emotions connected, and then they get report to the hospital, to the emergency department. So it is speculated, according to him, 90% of musculoskeletal problems can have a visceral component. And as a physio, we have good orthopedic manual skills, and we have got good exercise programs. And if you are going to have visceral component, still all whatever we do, basics of exercise therapy, our assessment still holds good. Okay, so as a physiotherapist, we are trained to deal with multiple systems at once, and we have an extensive background in the structures of spine and the extremities, and the joint movements, muscle, okay, nerve, neurodynamics. We have very good idea. But coming to the visceral, it's not part of our syllabus. Okay, and that's how we lack in that area, and we understand that. I think we can understand the patient better. So I'll share you some 3 case histories, right, which gives you an idea what could be the presentation, and how was the outcome. So this is a female patient, 21-year-old, pain at lower thoracic region and rib cage. That is a pain presentation. Lower thoracic region and rib cage on the right side. Okay, and it has been there for last 3 weeks. So that's a pain location. Posterior, lower rib cage. That's a pain location. And onset was gradual. Right thoracic region and rib cage is the location. It's a dull aching pain. It's intermittent in nature. 3 weeks of duration. She didn't give any history of trauma, fall, or injury, and it gets aggravated by forward bending and sitting. And she gets relieved by supine. VAS was 8 out of 10, and irritability was moderate. And while assessing, it went, it indicated to, doesn't look like a musculoskeletal, and indicated to be a liver. And I mobilized the liver. So I treated her 3 sessions. So that's the liver. There are movements which is side bending, rotation. There are movements happening. Liver can move up and down. Okay. One of those directions where it was released, and she got release of pain, and week, and by occupation is a physician, and that's a pain location. That's your
Hello?
right lower abdomen.
Excuse me,
Yes.
sir. So you were muted
Is it
for a few seconds, so we couldn't hear
Yes.
the last slide.
Yeah. Okay. Last slide is this one.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. This is a male patient. Okay. Age 45 years. Came with chief complaint of pain at right lower abdomen for last 1 week, and by occupation is a physician, which involves lots of sitting work, prescribing. Okay, that's the kind of work, and that's the pain location, right lower abdomen. And then patient and the pain history is it's a gradual in onset, location right iliac region, and it was a sharp pain, intermittent in nature, and gets aggravated by sitting, and also when he moves from sit to stand, and he walks few steps, then he feels better, relieved by walking. VAS was 6 out of 10. Irritability was mild. Being a physician, and also he didn't have any other systemic symptoms like nausea, vomiting, weight loss, no surgical history, and personal history, nothing significant. Medical history, nothing significant. And being a physician himself, he investigated himself. He did a CT abdomen, which came out normal. He did ultrasound abdomen, again it came out normal. Then somehow he reached me, okay, can you do something? Okay, so as a physio, I thought about these things. I think no, by the time he has gone through all those no appendicitis, renal stone. So as a physio point of view, I was looking whether it is OAS major trigger point. It could be a sacroiliac joint dysfunction. It could be a hip pathology, which is referring pain to the no, right iliac region, or it could be a cecum restriction based on the visceral. It could be a cecum restriction, or it could be hernia. So based on the assessment, okay, ruling out this not psoas, sacroiliac, hip. Okay, so I came to the conclusion it was a cecum restriction. Fine, and then I treated the cecum. It's done in supine position. There is a mobilization technique which is done for 4 to 5 minutes. Okay, release those soft tissue adhesions. So where is the cecum located? It's starting of your large intestine. That's your ascending colon, transverse colon, descending colon. This is the cecum. So, and there are ligaments which is attached. This is the medial ligament, inferior ligament, lateral ligament. I found this medial ligament was adhesion was there, and when I moved it, he had pain. And when I mobilized it, okay, one session maybe it took 4 to 5 minutes. Okay, and post treatment immediately his VAS was 0. And I made him sit. That is the position because the treatment was running in supine. I made him sit for some time, then 5 to 10 minutes. Then he got up, no pain on sitting, and when transition was there, sitting to standing, again it was pain free. Again after 1 month, I reassessed, or I just checked with him. He said the pain disappeared completely, no pain at rest, and also on sitting and sit to stand. So if it's a right organ, if the source is that, most often the treatment is quite the effect is quite immediate, and we do it, and it's a very soft movement. It's not something vigorous it's done, but they get a good relief. So this will be the last case, which I think we started with the first case. That's a boy who is 19-year-old student, pain over left chest for past 2 months, no history of trauma. Only significant history is he lost his father 4 months back. So that's quite significant. And it was gradually in onset, was 8 out of 10. And he already met cardiologist taking ECG, looking for cardiac in origin, but nothing was found, nothing significant. And orthopedician he met, he also felt nothing he can do, and he came to the physio. So when I saw him, he looked a bit dull and not communicating much. Okay, you can see there is a huge loss which has happened, and you can see he's not so, and he was he was very face was totally like sad, and I can see it's not going well in his life. So on palpation, I saw the complaints of the chest wall. The left side chest wall was quite stiff compared to right side, and movement of the thorax are full. So what could be the source and how to treat? So most often, as I said, the emotions, the sympathetic nervous system, and because of your adrenaline, because of your cortisol, all those sympathetic, it leads to your, not only it changes it changes your musculoskeletal system. Your muscles become stiff, okay, and the anxiety, everything contributes to this, and the muscle goes for stiffness. And what I have done is So lots of stiffness on the left side chest. So you got a mobilization technique where you can release those mediastinum. So this is known as costo-mediastinal recess, where it can be mobilized, and you got a diaphragmatic costo-diaphragmatic recess which can be released, and you got this endothoracic fascia. So which again there is a mobilization which can be released, okay, through this. And also you got this pericardial ligament. This is your heart. This is your sternum. So this is your superior part of the sternum, and this is your xiphoid process. So you got a superior sternopericardial ligament, inferior sternopericardial ligament, which can, because of the posture, emotions, dull, you go for forwarded posture, your thoracic inflection for a long time, right? These things can go for adhesion and restrict the movement of the chest wall, and thereby you can start getting pain. So I mobilized this, okay, in the first session, and immediately after the session, his VAS came to 5, and by the time he went out of the room, there was a big smile on his face. So again, I repeated this session for next 2 sessions with a gap of 1 week, and by the time we reached third session, the chest pain has completely gone. Then I advised him to go for some kind of aerobic activity, which will make him physically, because he was not physically active at all, and he was in those thoughts. So I advised him to go for more of physical activity, any kind of physical activity, jogging, swimming, whatever works for him. So I advised him. So after that, he did well with. Definitely, he needs lots of family support, and if it's still he might require even a multidisciplinary approach involving a psychologist, which will be the right solution for him. So what is the mechanism, how it works? So visceral manipulation is a soft tissue mobilization. The abdominal and thoracic organs are enveloped in the connective tissue and facial membranes. As soon as we manually manipulate this visceral soft tissue, we are affecting changes locally and in surrounding areas because of their facial connections. And they have lots of mechanoreceptors. 100 million neurons in the visceral ligaments. It's nothing but your peritoneal folds, your connections, and manually when you release it, there is a change in the viscosity of the ground substance, and also it decreases your sympathetic system, and thereby you bring about parasympathetic. Sympathetic is all about increase in heart rate, blood pressure, your autonomic imbalance. Parasympathetic is going to have a calming effect, and parasympathetic itself will reduce your pain threshold or pain level. You will feel better. Sympathetic, your pain response, your pain threshold becomes very low. And also it has got Pacinian corpuscles in the peritoneum, and which can be influenced by manual therapy, and patient might feel better. Their movement test or their body image will get better. And also a possible another mechanism. This is from Donald D. Inger at Harvard Medical School. When you do a myofascial release or a soft tissue release of the organs or release the organs, there is a concept of cellular mechanotransduction, the process by which cells sense mechanical forces and transduce them into changes in intracellular biochemistry and gene expression. So it can go to that extent, it can cause those changes. Okay, coming to the research articles, okay, you'll find relevant or as a physio, I think we treat lots of back pain patients, chronic low back pain patients, and this is a study which is recently published. And what they have done is one group with visceral manipulation plus physiotherapy, other with physiotherapy conventional with placebo or a sham visceral manipulation, and they found that the people with visceral manipulation, they had a better outcome. Okay, after 5 sessions, I think they have done for 6 weeks. This is other study which is done on non-specific neck pain. Okay, and they have taken with dyspepsia. They had some dyspepsia. They have taken that, and then they have done the visceral manipulation involving your stomach, liver, and all, and they measured the cervical range of motion. They measured the EMG activity of the trapezius. So they found that your pain threshold getting better. Okay, and also they found that your EMG activity of upper trapezius got better following mobilization of stomach, liver, and your organs, and could improve the pain level also. And also there is a case series of visceral and neural manipulation in children with cerebral palsy and chronic constipation, which I think is quite common. And they found these children's motility or bowel movements. They found their bowel movements to be improved, and also they have recorded radiographically, but that didn't show much with markers. But bowel movements have improved. That's what this study has demonstrated. So just to complete, an MCQ. patient is with the history of appendectomy 2 years back, currently complaints of back pain, he can be described as visceral, somatic, viscerosomatic or somatovisceral. What could be the possible classification you will classify this patient? Can we have answers in the chat box? 10 seconds. Severe appendectomy after 2 years, it comes out back. So what could be the possible? No, patient will fall under which classification? Yeah.
So all of them are answering option C.
Yeah, that's a viscerosomatic. Yes. So patient had appendectomy, maybe after that you would have got some kind of compensations or scar which could have pulled those traction and the peritoneum and loaded the back and started getting the back pain. So if you get a history like this or hysterectomy, patient with hysterectomy, after that 1 or 2 years, patient tells groin pain, patient tells back pain. Okay, patient after upper abdominal surgery, patient having any chronic ulcerative colitis. So any chronic conditions, after that patient complains of knee pain, back pain, remember that the source is viscera. You go and treat any amount of muscles, you do tape, you do needle, you do mobilization, you do myofascial release, you are just hitting something which is not the source. Okay, instead you go and do a specific you got the assessment and you do it and you locate the organs, you release it. I think if you do a right treatment, I think the results are amazing and you will see the patients getting better. I've seen many patients with a huge amount of problems, can't sit for a long time, 4 years, 5 years, taken so much of medications, so many scans, and you go, it could be a cecum, it could be your rectum, it could be your uterus, it could be your bladder. So you will see a wonderful results where it is very specific and patients you can give wonderful results. So to summarize, as a physio, we are very good at the musculoskeletal assessment. We are very well. Along with it, I think if we can add this component, I think it gives us a holistic view and we understand the patient. Okay, this is not visceral, it's somatic. If it's somatic, we are very good in it. We give a very good relief. But this component, I think, it will add to our understanding of the patient better. Yeah. Any questions? Welcome.
Yes, sir.
No, I'm happy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It was a wonderful theoretical session, sir. Very many of our participants, they are demanding for the practical demonstration as well. Might be that we can think of it for the future webinars.
Yeah.
Okay, so I shall start taking up the questions.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
So there was this question someone has asked, what is the difference between somatovisceral and viscerosomatic?
Yeah, that's what. See, viscerosomatic is the one what we have seen. Okay, patient with appendectomy, that means a problem in the viscera. Okay, maybe because of the scar, because of the adhesions, it pulls in. Okay, after some time it pulls in, puts a traction on your lumbar spine, and patient comes with a back pain. So that is your viscerosomatic. Suppose you got a problem which is purely somatic, means you got a nerve, you got a disc which is really a disc, and because of the posture, maybe the person was sitting long time for stoop posture. After that, they get some pain because once you do a stoop posture, your diaphragm doesn't move. When your diaphragm doesn't move, your organs doesn't move. When it doesn't move, then that could be a source of pain. So for these people, you treat the back. If the person even complains of the groin pain or abdominal pain, that's going to get better when you treat the back. So that is your somatovisceral. So you need not worry about visceral at all. You treat your nerve, could be neurodynamics, McKenzie, whatever works. Okay, you treat and patient gets better, then you solve it.
Okay, sir, do we have any outcome measure scales for rating the VAS that we already take, but is there anything else for the outcome measures to check for the visceral manipulation effect pre and post?
Yeah, they have done some radiological they have done radiological studies. If you go into a website, what I'll advise is just go, it's all freely available. Just put Barrel Institute, www.Barrel Institute. If you go in, there are research articles. There is a big list of research articles, what all the studies done, and you go in there, it's all freely available. There are radiological studies which has been done, and if you see physiotherapy point of view, they have done studies on pressure pain threshold, range of motion, okay, EMG studies. Okay, so
Okay.
that's what we are interested.
Okay. Sir, what are the red flag signs in case of this visceral manipulation? When do we go ahead with visceral manipulation, or with what contraindication we should not be giving it for some
Yeah, so
patients?
basically any inflammatory disease, okay, any inflammatory disease, any infections, we don't have any job. If there is any cancer, red flags, no, as we say for our no musculoskeletal, okay, any red flags, again we are not going to treat them. Any acute,
Okay.
suppose the person undergone a no appendectomy, right? No, like 3
Okay.
weeks, 4 weeks, right? You allow the tissue healing. Okay,
Okay.
after that you touch the patient. So it's similar like how we do our musculoskeletal, right? And we should remember
Okay.
inflammatory, infections, and your red flags, carcinoma. We are not going to do those. No, we are not going to do. So it's basically, if we can think about it, it's like a mechanical pain.
Okay.
Okay, so you got the ligaments, you got the attachments, which can go for adhesions, and same thing we call it in the neck, back, knee, in our regular musculoskeletal, we treat mechanical pains. So same way,
Okay.
it's a mechanical in origin. So definitely those mechanical origin can be treated manually.
Okay. Okay. Fine, sir. So the next question, is there any specific outcome, okay, that we have already guided for us, I guess? How do you
Yeah.
differentiate the pain between somatic and visceral, again, and with differential diagnosis?
Yeah, that's what. As I said, see, we are very clear with our somatic, right? One thing is we get from the history. Suppose the person gives, I have undergone hysterectomy, right? And then complaints of pain, the back pain or knee pain. So you get as we do our differential diagnosis, you get clue from the history. Then we go for observation. Okay. Then if you see our routine physio, right, we go for isometric muscle contraction. As I said, that patient with the iliac pain, I went for isometric of psoas major, and I couldn't provoke the pain. Okay, so if it's a muscular, your muscle contraction should provoke the pain. That was not the case. If it's a SI joint, you do the test for SI joint. If it's hip pathology, you do a functional movement, and you got a no impingement test, you got an instability test. You need to do that. So it's you need to understand that it's going to be, all these structures could be the possible source. So you understand these regions and you understand their pathologies, your history and things. Then I think whether it's going to be visceral or kind of somatic.
Okay. Okay. Sir,
So it's a
there are
clinical
few questions.
reason from history to examination. So it's not a one factor, as we do in a
Yeah,
regular
a detailed
physical
examination. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Sir, the next question, can visceral manipulation benefit in hypo or hypothyroidism?
Because see, functionally you can ask diabetes also. See, diabetes
Okay.
also, pancreas is there, you got. So as I said, the mechanical things, it's going to get better. Okay, mechanically, some kind of adhesions, release, but it's not going to be such an extent. You change diabetic patient to normal value. Your blood sugar level comes back. So those kind of things you're not going to see.
Okay. Okay. So very
But some of
many
them are functioning will improve. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Very many participants are interested to know that from where can we do the certification for this course of visceral manipulation.
Okay, I think they can check the, as I said, Barrel Institute website. Barrel
Okay.
Institute website. I think India, you can check. So people are organizing. So as I said, it is 6 levels course. So
Okay.
I'm practicing this for last 7-8 years. Okay, so I've
Okay.
done till level 5. So slowly I have progressed. So right, but it's it gives you one more perspective. You don't think in like yeah, back. You think, okay, something
Yeah.
patient tells a friend, then you look,
Overall.
okay, yes,
Okay.
yes, you look, it could be from the front also, it could be from the abdomen. So it just
Yeah.
opens up possibilities, right? Otherwise you get stuck only with one region. So that's what I feel it is relevant.
Okay. And sir, after how long, like post-operative, after any surgical procedure, when should we start with this manipulation, or when it can be given?
See, that's what, as I said, we need to respect the tissue healing, and
Okay.
right, and see the relevance, right? So there will be a normal course of patient recovery and the tissue healing, you respect that. After that, still person gets, as we do scar tissue mobilization. Yeah, we do scar tissue mobilization, adhesions, abnormal scars. So same way, you need to respect the soft tissue healing. After that, you can definitely, if there is a indication, we can treat.
Okay. Sir, is there any set protocol for the number of sessions and for how many sets or reps do we give this manipulation for?
Yeah. So it's going to be depending on the severity of the adhesion. Some people, one session, pain disappears. Some people who are chronic, they might need 4 to 5 sessions. Usually it's done weekly once. Okay, so 4 to 5 sessions. So it depends on the severity. Okay, but if it's really indicated, they get good relief.
Okay. And yes, sir. So these were a few of the questions. Very many people, they were asking for the practical demonstration.
Yeah, I understand.
Do we have any videos that we can see, sir, for the manipulations?
Yeah, that's what I'll suggest is just put YouTube, put Barrel. Okay. He has about the videos, so that is very authentic. So look for him. He is the one who invented it. So look for his videos. But as I said, it's not going to be learned from videos. Okay, you need hands-on because it involves lots of surface anatomy. If when you tell liver, where is the liver located, how to palpate, what are the movements possible. So it involves lots of hands-on. So book, if you have book also, I don't think so you will learn anything from the book. So because it's all hands-on. So that's where I think as a physio, we like to put our hands on the patient. And I think no one else puts hands on that area except the maybe physician and the gastroenterologist will be assessing that. But the way this is going to be assessed, I don't think so any other healthcare professional is going to assess.
Yes.
So this is an area where we have a scope, and if you see patient with GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease, that's a huge group of patients who are don't know what to do. Patients, if you see, there are lots of patients with constipation, and you see lots of studies also on that. Fine, and so you got many more applications where you can increase your scope of the practice. So I'm not telling do anything and everything, but relevant to us. And if you see chronic neck pain, whiplash, you won't find much evidence in the physiotherapy management. So there are some ligaments which is attaching to your lung, the vertebrae. So you got many more things which I think could be the source, and you look for it. Then you can become better. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Sure, sir. So very many other participants, all of them, they are very much happy with the session. They are telling you with a wonderful session. I would now hand over the screen to Dr. Pallavi ma'am for the vote of thanks.
Yeah, so I would like to thank Uttara for contacting IAP Women's Cell of Maharashtra and Latur for making this happen, right? So I also enjoyed sharing with you people. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. It was a pleasure having you today for the session.
Good evening. Hello.
Hello. Yes.
Hello. Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. You are audible.
Yes. Good evening. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Good evening, all dear physios. This is Pallavi Dangat Zadav, coordinator of Latur IAP team and Women's Cell team. And we have already been provided with a link for in the chat box, and we would be happy and appreciate to receive your feedback for further improvement. Really sincere thanks to Dr. Prem Venkatesan sir for his valuable time in a simplified way. So grateful for his association with Indian Association team for thanks on our
Hello. Hello. Yes, there was some network problem. Hello, Pallavi ma'am. Yes, I shall just take over onto this. We have provided a link in the chat box session. So I request all the participants to kindly give us a good feedback for the session, that how was it very much supportive for you to hear this webinar. I would take this opportunity and I would acknowledge my sincere thanks to Dr. Prem Venkateshan sir for sparing your valuable time and enlightening us with this such untouched topic in very simplified way. We are also highly grateful to the organizers of this webinar in association with Maharashtra State IAP WC team. And I extend my thanks towards our state coordinator, Dr. Suvarna ma'am, Dr. Snehal, Dr. Uttara, Dr. Priya, Dr. Nirali, and for all the team members for supporting and helping us for this technical aspects of this webinar. We are also highly obliged to receive the overwhelming responses for the registration of this webinar, and we express our sincere thanks to all of you and for all the participants. I also request now, if you have not subscribed to our channel of IAPWC Maharashtra, kindly do that on YouTube channel. We would also appreciate to receive all your valuable feedback for the further improvement. And I once again extend all my greetings to all of you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir, for sparing time with us. Hello, sir. You can stop sharing the screen.